Hello, I am the absent commentator, and I will be bringing you commentary today on Poltergeist 3. Not the other side. Apparently, we don't get to go to the other side in this movie. Oh well. The reflection of the title is a very nice touch. Gives you a hint about what this movie is. Now, people bash this movie all the time and say, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. If you really want to see this movie bashed, look up the Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert review of this movie. They hate it. And maybe for good reasons, I don't know. I'm not a movie reviewer, but I like to give my opinions. And so I like to talk about it. But anyway, I got, speaking of the music, the very very different, obviously, from the first two movies. The first two movies were, of course, done by the great Jerry Goldsmith, and he did a much more romantic, orchestral-like score, which is wonderful. But this guy took another direction. This whole movie took another direction. We leave the suburbs to go to the big city. A big city which I'm very familiar with. I've been to Chicago many times. I love the city. I wish I could live there. I've been in this building. As a matter of fact, I've been to this some of the scenes, some of the areas that they used. I'll get more on that later. I remember when I first saw this movie. I didn't get to see it in theaters, but I did see it on when it came out on video. Went and ran and got it and saw it. And this first little thing always baffled me. What the hell is going on here? Oh, it's just a window washer. With a window washer who oddly looks a lot like Kane. Unfortunately, not the Kane from the previous movie. As we all know, Julian Beck unfortunately died right after the making of the second movie. Some say it's the Poltergeist curse. I say it was the cancer. That's just me. I'm not a doctor, though. Anyway, this is the John Hancock building. I don't think they ever mentioned that in the movie. If you watch the credits, you see it. Or if you know Chicago, then you know this is the John Hancock building. And so this is really really fantastic placement. Uh-oh. Okay, we've been through this shit two times already, Carol Ann. It's time to get out. That always spooked me because my first impression when I saw this was she's in this big huge room with a mirror for a wall. No door. No door. And I thought maybe she's absolutely lost it. That was my first impression. Has she really just gone beyond sanity and is now in some mirrored room locked away somewhere with nice furniture and a fold out bed, by the way? Did y'all notice that? Fold out bed. So she's so cute. That's not even a word. But no, I really thought that she was locked away somewhere in an insane asylum. But and then Nancy Allen opens the door. It's like, oh, it's just a room. And then my next thought was, who the hell has a floor to ceiling mirror, wall to wall mirror, and the door too? But then I come to find out later that mirrors play a big part in this movie, so I guess that was on purpose. Toastums are absolutely and positively disgusting. This movie made me actually go out and buy them thinking that they were better than Pop-Tarts. They aren't. Don't get them. I don't even think they make them anymore, to be honest. I've never seen them on the shelf. Nothing is better than a Pop-Tart. Toaststrudels, gross. Absolutely disgusting. Pop-Tarts are the way to go. Aw. Nancy Allen, she was real pretty in this movie. And, I'd never seen her in anything other than this movie before. And then, of course, I find out she's in RoboCop, which I still need to watch those movies. I've never seen them. I know what you're saying. How in the world could you have never seen RoboCop? But I haven't. So, sorry. Maybe one of these days I'll sit and watch it. If it gets on Netflix, I'll probably just turn it on or something. But, but then, of course, I saw Carrie. And if you've ever seen Carrie, Nancy Allen is naked in that movie. And I don't mean just topless. I mean fully naked. You see everything. And so it's very interesting to see her in that movie and then watch her, in this movie. And I'm just like, oh, no, I just see Nancy Allen naked. Nope, see, there she is naked again. So, some people might see that as a good thing. I see it as traumatizing. And, uh-oh. How many elevators do you know that laugh? But, if I was ever in an elevator that did that, even without the laughter, I would have stopped immediately. It's like, get me the hell off this thing right now. God, I watched the shit out of this movie when I was growing up. I knew it forwards, backwards, sideways. I knew every line. I had this nerdy, well, not really nerdy, but this just ignorant friend that loved the movie too. And we would just watch it all the time. I've lost touch with that friend though. He's, for good reason, he's an asshole. So, oh well. I never did understand the significance of the cracked mirrors. Isn't that how they communicate, sort of, and go back and forth? So, it's just kind of weird. Oh, I was talking about the music earlier. I completely forgot. The music of this always reminds me of the music from Resident Evil. Oh, and also Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. The music of that and this really line up a lot. And I don't think it's the same composer. I'll have to double check. But the music is really, really... it just reminds me of Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil game. When you're just walking around the house, and that music is so creepy. And so, this music is also very creepy. And if any, I mean, I don't get it. This is the water tower, which is next door to John Hancock Center. But as you can see, this is a shopping mall. And now that's all well and good, but what gets me is that anyone who lives in the Chicago area who knows these buildings knows that the John Hancock building and the water tower are not the same building. So apparently they got on some magical elevator that takes them from John Hancock Center to the water tower. But that's the magic of Hollywood, or in this case, Chicago. I love that girl. That girl's glasses. I had glasses almost that big when I was growing up. They've gotten much smaller in recent days. Oh, the last time I went to Chicago, I stood in that exact same spot and looked up and took a picture. And I also made the laughing sound. Yeah, I got some weird looks, but that's okay. So she's an art gallery owner. That must be an interesting job. And that's it. That's all we have to say today. Oh, did you notice him checking out her outfit? $26,000. This is why I could not be a visual artist. Absolutely not. No. I wouldn't even know what price tag. That always made me laugh. Probably the only comedic thing about the entire movie. Oh well. Or at least funny parts that are meant to be funny. Did the Poltergeist do that? Or Gravity? Hmm. That was really creepy. And it is interesting how they're only in mirrors. You know? It's an interesting concept because you always kind of have to wonder if reflections took a life of their own, what would they do? You know? What do they do when we're not looking at them? I have to wonder about the writers of this. I mean, did they create a story that said, here are mirror reflections taking a life of their own? And then someone said, they presented to someone and it's like, that's a really good idea. However, we were hoping that to make a Poltergeist 3. So what do you guys think about that? They're like, you know what? We could actually combine the stories and make Poltergeist 3. And here it is. So, overlooking Lake Michigan. The one thing I do appreciate about this movie is that they did stay in location. They didn't shoot some things here and then go back to Hollywood and do things here or some things here or some things here. I'm pretty sure the apartment was a set. I don't know for certain. Pretty sure it's a set. But it seems like the rest of the building scenes were in the building, so that's great. And if the apartment wasn't a set, fantastic. My hat's off to that. Because I really appreciate movies that don't, go real place then set, real place set, real place set, real place set. When all these real places exist. So many real places out there that you could film and they just don't do it. They just build set. Build set. Oh well. Pronto? Who says that? Oh, the 80s. That's some weird looking eyes too, isn't it? It's actually both. Ooh, burn. That's another thing. Is these so-called burns seem to be not very effective. He said a bad word. See what happens when you teach kids words that don't exist? They start using them. God, what a terrible character he is. And I'd love to know what this high school is. Is it even a high school? You don't really get to see. Um, it's apparently across the street from some View pet shop that's probably not there anymore. Acne. I like to know what the mom is saying to that little bitch of a girl. Yeah. Okay, I know it's the 80s. I know they're high school girls. I know they're still recovering from the Breakfast Club and all the John Hughes Rat Pack movies. But do high school girls really talk like that? Not. I hung out with some in high school. I don't remember them talking like that. So, if they do, great. If not, it's just so weird. A two-way mirror in a classroom. Man, I would hate, hate, hate that. When I'm listening to this music, the Chopin piece, uh, it's just so weird because the quality of the recording doesn't sound much different than the music of the movie, which is kind of weird. The original music. Well, maybe if you weren't looking at her, she wouldn't be staring at you. Gosh, I these two-way mirrors. I can't imagine any school getting away with this. I know this is a special school for gifted people with emotional problems, but this is ridiculous. I mean, for all we know, that guy just goes in there and jerks off while the kids are just staring away and, you know, imagines them as naked and God only knows what else. Oh, now Kane's going to do it. Great. Fantastic. Mm. And this whole theory of Carol Ann being responsible. Oh my God. So the poltergeist is all Carol Ann. This is ridiculous. I mean, I know some people can't grasp the idea of supernatural beings and entities and things like that, but this is You know, that is really creepy. Yeah, I'd be getting the hell out of that school. This shouldn't be funny. I can't stop. Oh, she's so cute. Where is she living now? Some old people's home? Somewhere? I mean, look at this. It's pathetic. Other mediums and psychics out there? I wonder if she had to repeat any of her dialogue from the first movie when she did that. I know it's not the same dialogue, but I've always been curious about her doing the off-camera voicing stuff when they would talk to her beyond the other from the other side. She just told you. That's 3 words, Carol Ann. Aw, she's lonely. Another two-way mirror. This is ridiculous. Even to this guy's office. What about the sister? She just vanished, I guess. They probably left her in that cheap motel they stayed in at the end of the first movie. She seemed to know the place very well. And this is so insane. This guy is blaming her for what he does. And stuff like that just gets on my nerves. A little short lady. The midget lady. And see, despite what he sees and everything that he does, they always say that when people don't believe something, they won't believe it until, it swims up and bites them on the ass. Well, this guy you wouldn't think would believe it until somebody threw a coffee cup through his mirror. Well, that didn't work. It's very interesting what finally gets him to understand what's really going on. Oh, it's so pretty. I love the city lines. I would never leave that little seat right there. I would stand there and stare and stare and stare. And why is Caroline wearing a onesie? How old is she in this movie? This is 1988, I think. And she is 12. And she's in a onesie. Now, granted, it's real cute. It's a very cute little onesie. I kind of want one. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I think Peter Griffin got that same onesie in an episode of Family Guy. I never heard that before. He just called her Slugger. I don't know if you were listening very carefully, but you heard he said, "See you later, Slugger." What supernatural powers? The only person that I remember told her she had any kind of powers or gifts was her grandmother. And she wasn't a quack. Uh-oh. Carrie. Look, Bruce, I was in Carrie. I know all about it. She's not Carrie. So weird. I love this whole reflection thing. Taking on lives of their own. It's fantastic. And what kind of music is Laura Flynn Boyle's character listening to? It's kind of catchy. Oh, the 80s. Laura Flynn Boyle was so cute in this movie. I think this was her first movie too, or maybe not her first, but very, very close to her first. Ooh, what are they going to do after the opening? Ooh, interesting. Oh, I forgot to finish what I was telling about. Ooh. Oh, God. They can't even get stunts that look the same. Or that are even the same height, for that matter. For crying out loud. That was not good. But, I forgot to talk about that scene with Tangina. You know, Carol Ann always got to say the catch line. And, this time, Tangina got to say it. He's found her. Me and my friend, not the asshole friend from before, but the nice, kind friend that I have now. He and I, love this movie too, and We always poke fun at that scene. Tangina! It really shouldn't be that funny, but it's so funny. We just mock it all the time. Sometimes we just pour tea for no reason just so we can do the line. We are so pathetic, I know. And you know what? The camera focuses on this piece of art way, way too much. I love this old lady right here that just comes walking by. She is obviously not having a good time. She didn't want the sushi. And she looks at this and she's just like, what a piece of shit. Just walks along. Oh, the 80s. I know I've said it like 3 times, but you can just so tell it's made in the 80s. First of all, people smoking inside, no one cares. I wonder if Carol Ann's onesie has a drop seat in the back. And is she really going out with her collar turned up like that? I never noticed that before. It's still turned up. Fold your collar down. Oh dear. Oh God. I'm still remembering just idiotic things I did as a kid quoted from this movie. Oh my God. Look, it's those masks. Creepy. Not saying they're not creepy looking. It's very creepy. But, one of them could have been Kane. Just one of them could have been the actor. But I guess not. And I still don't understand, Carol Ann. Get the hell out of there. Oh, and the fashion sense. Again, I know it's the 80s, but the fashion sense. And what about this boy? Not the guy with the hat, but that guy. What's going on with him? He not gone through puberty yet? These are high school kids, and it's weird. I miss Speak and Spell. That was the best little toy ever. My cousin had one, who oddly enough lived in Chicago, and I would try to play with it as much as possible, but I think they broke it or something, and it just wouldn't. It wouldn't speak. It just spelled. So basically, it was just and spell. I got tired of it after a while too, because it was just I can't spell. I couldn't spell. I still can't really spell very well. I still have to sound things out. Now I will say at this part, whoever the stunt double is in the back is doing a fine, fantastic job. That was a really well done scene with getting them absolutely in sync with each other. But you could tell how they did it because they went in rhythm together. It was like step and step and step. Oh, no drop seat. Oh well. She has to unbutton the whole thing to use the bathroom. Oh, Kane got to say the famous line this time. I guess Kane's going to go wash some windows before he gets Carol Ann. And I still love how she is still looking out, in the real world. When she sees it in the mirror, at this point, she is still looking outside to see if it's really there. Has she not gotten it yet? I guess not. Okay, I didn't know they were telepathic. When you love to open your room and just this whole pile of smoke comes out. I love that. No telling how much that phone call is costing her. Those plane phones are not cheap. uh, Another scene I always made fun of, just for no reason. It's just funny the way she speaks the lines. Is Dr. Seaton, hello? Hello? So funny. Now, apparently there was a deleted scene about with cilantro and stuff, but they got rid of it. But it really showed his character for what he really is, an utter asshole. And once again, Carol Ann, get out of the apartment. She had the perfect opportunity to get out, and she's still there. God, this scene. I would go to hotels and other large buildings that had elevators, and I would reenact this scene. Just because, being an only child, you get very bored when you go with your family anywhere, because my parents were Bore City. And so, they'd turn in like at 8 o'clock, and I'd be like, well, I'm just going to go explore. And so I'd go into an elevator, and I'd get out in some abandoned floor or something like this, where no one's really supposed to go, I guess. And I would just reenact this scene. I would have nobody to reenact it with, but it worked in my mind. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Crazy! Mm-hmm. And I love this sign. It's like, no one can enter or swim alone. You may not swim alone. No one can be alone. I'm like, well, what if I want to swim alone? Such lame attempts at jokes. And, you know, whatever happened to that style of hats? I know it died out in the 80s, but, maybe they need to bring it back. That kid actually, always with the hat, always reminded me of that kid in Uncle Buck. And if you're familiar with that movie, there's a scene where Uncle Buck goes to this big, huge party, and he's got like the fedora hat on, and this other kid grabs his hat, and Uncle Buck turns around and grabs the kid's hat, not realizing it, and puts it on. And it's that same style of hat. And, but, okay, once again, Carol Ann must have had her brains completely ripped out of her mind in the last movie. Because she tries to go back into the same room. Who does that? Oh, I just escaped a room that tried to kill me. But I'm going to... That's a cool effect. That is such a cool effect right there. I would love to do that for something or the other. But yeah, I was just like, I just escaped this room that... Now she finally gets it. Let's get the hell out of here. And, uh-oh. I've always wanted to do that, but I would be caught. Somebody would find me and go, "Did you set off that emergency stair alarm? Or you're going to jail forever." The only instance of static, like in the first movie. The only TVs, too. I don't know if you noticed it, but in Carol's room there was a TV. So, it wasn't being used, though, which I'm sure I can imagine why. I'm still trying to figure out Scott's shirt. I can read strength, flexibility, and endurance. But for what? Is he an athlete? What is this? And she knows how to run this equipment way too well. Because if I went in there and started pushing buttons, the whole thing would have exploded. And there you have it. She's not going to steal. She's going to break and enter. She's going to illegally obtain alcohol as a minor for another minor. But she's not going to steal. No. No. We can't steal. I love that paper sign taped to the door. I know it's supposed to be a new building, even though it's not really a new building in 1988. But it's, at least I don't think it was. It's something I'll have to look up later. And by the way, to all you Chicago natives, if I get Chicago facts wrong, please leave that in the comments and I will correct myself. I'm always willing to learn. Okay, now, I can hear other voices other than just Kane, okay? Which means that there's still... And I love this snow ice thing. It's a great thing to use. But all these other voices, you can still hear them like you could in the other movies. But and I love the smoke receding. That's a nice effect. Very, very nice. But I completely forgot what I was saying. Hang on, I was talking about the ice, Chicago, always willing to learn. Oh, the hell with it. I'm sure it'll come back to me. Okay, so not only did they get beer, but they got a whole bunch of chips and Cokes and stuff. Oh, remember Coke Classic? I do not remember New Coke. I don't remember why New Coke came out or vanished. But apparently nobody liked it, and so they went back to Coke Classic. I'm still trying to... Someone look up what that says on his shirt. I would do it, but I don't want to right now. I don't. My computer's being used. It's what I'm watching the movie on. Is this really what 80s kids found? 80s high school kids found to be funny and entertaining? She just did a double take. Oh no, Carol Ann's running around in the garage in a onesie. That ground has got to be completely cold. Now, if memory serves, I'm trying to remember how they did this scene. I saw a little video about it, and oh, I remember what I was talking about before. You hear all the voices, and there's different voices, like always. And I read somewhere that that Carol Ann led a lot of his followers into the light in the previous movie, just not Kane. And so, okay, the moral of that scene: never stand on a puddle for too long because hands will come out and grab you. Um, but I always wondered if Kane made it into, or didn't make it into the light, but his followers did. And so, a lot of people, or I've read that someone thinks that this movie is just Kane. Well, that's can't be true because you still hear the voices of the rest of them. Okay, I think if I remember correctly on how they did this, the garage itself was the real garage, but when you get to the 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 pedal after the hands come out, then you're at a water tank on a set somewhere. You know, I really hate that Caroline got captured in this one. Um, you know, I was like, no, not again. And she spends the rest of the movie captured. Now, granted, I know she was not well, and so maybe she just need. Oh, the Japanese guy's pissed. There's that creepy statue thing that stared at Aunt Trish earlier. Uh oh. They're in trouble. Don't you hate it when the parents find out that you're partying, Hardy? And I love kids' excuses on things. They're doing something wrong. They know they're doing something wrong, and all this other stuff. But And we still try to work in a joke. Uh, Ridiculous. But, they're just like, yeah, we did something wrong, but, just because we did something wrong, we didn't hurt anything. We didn't do anything wrong, except we just did something wrong. But we all do that. We all did that growing up. It was just like, you know, you lie to cover up something else that you did wrong. You do something wrong to cover up something else you did wrong. And it's all an endless cycle just to make ourselves look better. And any better looking that we can make ourselves is what we did. Okay. I'm trying to figure out something here. Okay, first of all, I love the ice effect. Although, it's kind of weird looking. But, good ice effect. And is this supposed to be like the weird plasma or jelly stuff that was used in the first movie when they came out? And then it just vanishes. I wonder if this pool is really in the John Hancock Center. Um, I mean, I would think so. Um, I'm looking at the windows, and they all have that crisscross pattern that the whole building has. So my guess is yes, it does. It would be really cool to swim in it. I'd love to go back and just find. It's like, excuse me, where is this pool? Is it still there? Might not be there anymore. Oh, that's not good. It's a cool effect though. A breathing door. Now wait a minute. And I love how Poltergeist is just trying to get everybody. It's just like, we're not just going to get Carol Ann. We're going to get Scott. We're going to get Donna. We're going to get these two. We're just going to get them all. We're just going to get everybody. Except Scott, we're just going to throw him back. It's like fishing. It's like, oh, we don't want that. Toss it back. It's that crappy shirt he's wearing. That nasty perm. Let Tangina stroke her necklace. You can't see it, but I'm stroking my necklace too. She's so cute. Oh. Now, in case you don't know this or not, all the special effects in this movie were done on site. They were done on camera. They were not done in post. Okay? Now, the last movie did a lot of green screen, blue screen kind of stuff. Poltergeist 2 did that. But this one, they claimed they wanted all their special effects to be live. And I thought, well, that's really cool, to do that. Gosh, she's so cute. If you ever saw Picket Fences, Zelda Rubinstein and Tom Skerritt, both are in that show. Um, it kind of makes me wonder if the person who created that show thought those two were really good in Poltergeist 3 together. Let's put them together in another show. And of course, I also love in this movie that Tangina is now back to her strong, confident Tangina self. In the last movie, she was just so scared. I was like, oh, I don't really trust my instincts anymore. But here she is kicking ass. Love it. And I'm really curious about some of these things because, well, let me not say. Well, spoiler alert. This is not really Scott. We find out later that it's something else. Scott's reflection, maybe. But oh, more static. A gas stove. I want that gas stove. You know, when I was growing up, I never got that joke. When I watched it as I was old, when I got older, yeah, I got it, but I never got that. I was just like, what the hell is Tweedledum and Tweedle? What? What the hell does that have to do with this? Oh, and I completely forgot. You could totally make a drinking game out of this movie, okay? And it's very, very simple. Watch this movie with a bunch of your friends, get some drinks, and every time you hear the word or hear the name Carol Ann, you take a drink. Because they say it numerous times. Numerous times. Okay, so like I was saying about Scott, you know, we find out later that this is spoiler alert! We find out that this is not really Scott, okay? And it's his reflection. And so now I wonder, can poltergeists and possessed people be hypnotized? Well, apparently they can. Or maybe they were faking it, I don't know. Okay, let's talk about this necklace for a minute. Where the hell did she get that? And I don't mean the powerful medicine man who walked among the spirits and returned. But I wonder who, I want to know where they actually, like, is there a costume designer who made this? By the way, I want this necklace. Not to wear, just to have and rub on every once in a while when I feel the need to talk to the other side through the mirror. I know Tangina's, got some powers and stuff, and the necklace helps, but it makes me wonder if she, did Scott explain which puddle to go to? Or did she just know? She's like, a puddle in the garage. I know exactly where it is. It's the 7th floor, or whatever floor it is. Um, right here in this little corner. I found it. She probably did. I mean, it is Tangina after all. So, and what a great moral lesson for the parents out there. Your kids disappear, just love them and love each other so much. Why don't you go upstairs and just get it on for a little bit? And they'll just come right back. We all have to wonder who this medicine man was. Was it Taylor? Was it that really, really old Indian guy that gave Taylor the spear at the beginning of Poltergeist 2? Or was it some quack who sold it to her for, £8.53? And did Tangina stick her finger in a light socket before she made this? I mean, look at that hair. Again, I know it's the 80s, but what's up with the big hair? Dolly Parton's hair is not even that big. My God. It's an interesting way to look at things. The purer you are, the stronger you are. So, for all you people out there that have yet to lose your virginity, you're probably very, very strong. Which is kind of an odd thing because most people who think about people who are still virgins at the age of 20, whatever, 30, whatever, are not generally considered to be strong people. Now, I would love, this scene was done very, very well. And I would love to know how they did it. This is one of those where, it would really be nice to hear from a director, an actor, somebody. Now, that's not Carol Ann. I mean, listen to the music. It's like Jaws. You know when Jaws was coming because you heard the theme. You know when Jaws was not coming because you didn't hear the theme. So, listen to that. You know it's not Carol Ann. As cute as she is, and here's the sad thing is that Tangina knew all the times before that it wasn't Carol Ann. And so, uh-oh, wait a minute. Now she's understanding. Uh, and what the hell is up with this scene? I mean, who thought of this? And that is got to be the grossest sounding sound effect. I mean, I'd love to talk to the Foley people about that. What the hell did they do to make that sound effect? No. So bizarre. I mean, who thought of that? It's like, oh, let's bring Donna back by shoving her up through Tangina's dead body. I guess he's finally on board now with all this. Okay, by the way, if you're doing the drinking game, you are probably so out of your mind, wasted, that if you're listening to this commentary and drinking, you're gone. I'm not talking to you anymore. You are completely passed out. You might want to be careful because you could actually die of alcohol poisoning. You know, part of me really wants to like put a little counter on the bottom of the frame, like that South Park episode where they use shit over and over, however many times. I would love to do that with this movie, and every time they say Carol Ann, just do the counter. I wonder if anybody's ever done that, like taking one of um, those little push counters. You know, like every time something happens, you just push it and it keeps count. Oh, I never noticed that before. There's a little blooper. I don't know if y'all saw it, but rewind it and go back and see it. But at some point when you get a chance. But you know, you saw the reflection of Carol Ann, but then you saw the real Carol Ann on the real side go as well, open the door. So, oops. Oh well. Can't fix everything, I guess. Hello? Where did everybody go? Are you out here? Oh, Carol Ann again. Again, music. Wonderfully creepy. Very, very nice. Touches all over the place. You know. And I love how Carol Ann could just emanate red. You know. I guess that's why she's wearing the red onesie. Ah! And doors open. Uh-oh. Whoops. So signifies the first death in any Poltergeist movie. And did you hear that weird sound effect again? I still want to know what caused that. Or what they used to get that sound effect. And if you're looking at his shirt, you notice that the words and everything on it are backwards. So that's kind of a hint. And, you know, if these are possessed creatures, you know, the reflections or whatever, possessed by poltergeist entities, um, they, you know, yeah, they're horny. For religious cult sect, or whatever you call them, they, sure want to get it on. But I guess after... Oh, wait, they got to tear their skin off first. Again, so bizarre. Oh, she's glowing red again. I love it when people call out names like over and over and over again and never hear an answer. But they still call out the names and call them out and call them out. If you were in a forest, yeah, sure, maybe, but okay. Here's one of those places that I've been to. When I was in Chicago, I went to the John Hancock Center, and my relatives who lived up there said when you go to the John Hancock Center, don't go to the observation deck. They told me to go to the bar. And because the bar is literally one deck below the observation deck. And you don't have to pay to go into the bar. You just have to have a drink. And so I made sure to go, me and my partner, made sure to go during happy hour. And this restaurant right here was right below the bar. And you could see out into the restaurant. You could see into the restaurant from the overhang, like you walked above it. And the exact same setup. I think the chairs were a little different, but the exact same setup. I loved it. Because when I looked out to it, I was like, this looks familiar. And sure enough. So, I didn't even go in the kitchen, but oh well. By the way, I love going to locations. Real locations used for real places. I would love to go to the location of the house from Poltergeist 2. And Poltergeist 1. I'd love to go to all those places and just take a picture. So, that kind of thing just really fascinates me. And I know the address of the first house. I know the address of the house from part 2. So, now I just have to get back to California and go there. Remember what Tangina said. Yeah. Keep loving on me. Why don't we just step into this little walk-in freezer and just get it on right here? Remember, Tangina told us to do that. So weird. And I've never been in a walk-in freezer of a nice restaurant like this where they probably serve these animals. And what the hell is the hose? Is it just water? Or, I've never understood this part. Or, I mean, I understand it. I've just never understood what this liquid is. What is this? I mean, it's just weird. Is it some kind of acid? Oh, look who's here. Take my necklace. And now we're in a snowy garage with cars covered in cocaine. Did she say it was a lie? It's all a lie? She is laying in a snow-covered garage indoors. And it's a lie. With cars coming to life. With these poltergeist spirits can't drive. Kind of like the police spotlight, isn't it? Like, who are you? We are the police. What do you want? For you to shut the hell up. I don't know. I can't think of anything good to say. Oops, I think we just ruptured a gas tank. Oh, we did it again. Uh-oh. Now gas is spilled out. Let's smell it real quick. Oh, it smells like my ass. Now I'm going to wipe it on my tux. And then use that same hand to light a lighter. Not smart. Now, I know this doesn't have anything to do with it, probably. But you remember back when they showed the 3 different canes? You know? I always used to think that one of them had just bit the dust, okay? That was one of them. Just bit the dust, okay? But there's still 2 others left. So, keep that in mind as we watch the rest of this. Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't know this, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not. By the way, I tend to repeat things that I don't remember if I mentioned or not, so, just deal with it. Um, the, um, the actor who played Kane, visually, is not the same guy who voiced him. The voice actor is someone totally different. And, so he's kind of like Darth Vader in this. Some guy to stand there and mouth the words and some other guy to do the voice. And I think I mentioned that in my previous episode when I did Poltergeist 2. So, I figured it. Oh, I see Nancy Allen's nipples. And yes, I keep going back to Nancy Allen naked from Carrie. I can't help it. I've been traumatized by that movie. And, if you think Nancy Allen's attractive and you like that, by all means, but let me tell you something else. There's some other girls in that scene that were naked, and we didn't need to see them naked. Oh, another possessed car, maybe? No. And is it just my imagination, or does that girl have a Mercedes symbol in her ear? Okay, this scene always kind of got to me a little bit too, because this woman, she's taking off or whatever. Who called her? That's what I'd like to know. Who called her? Who called her and said, we need, or, yeah, Donna called, she and Carol Ann are upstairs with that shrink, what's his name, from the school. Who called that? What's his name is dead. Carol Ann's still missing, and, so I don't know. I know it's supposed to be to fake us out, but still, you gotta fake us out while still keeping true to the damn story. Bruce, I hate Carrie White. Yeah, watch Carrie and watch that locker room scene, because there's somebody in there that you don't want to see naked. And if, wait a minute. I bet they meant for that to be a scare, like, jump out of your seat scare, but, and I'm very, very jumpy. It takes very, very little to make me jump out of my pants. Um, but that did not get me to jump. And stop. Oh, and I always love how the poltergeists, or whatever they are, can make lights flicker and blink like you're in some kind of epileptic fit. Um, they've done that in every movie. Uh, so I love that. It's kind of creepy if you think about it. Because if you're looking into a room, like maybe with the door closed, but you can still see the crack in the lights, or if you're just looking into a window and you just see the room and the lights are just kind of flashing randomly, it's very, it's very odd, very creepy. You kind of wonder what's going on in there. They're very lucky that Kane just didn't decide to start up that elevator again while they were in it. Kind of have a Resident Evil moment. Bam! A dead body. This is so bizarre. Another thing that I find wrong with this, he's only been dead for what, maybe an hour or two? But he already looks like this? Wow. Maybe the poltergeist drained him of life force or something. Maybe he's now part of it. You think? You think he's out there, well, like, Carol Ann, lead me into the light with everybody else. He is an idiot. Okay, now great logic. Very good logic. But he controls the inside but not the outside. That's right. But why does they not think that he does not control this um, window washing apparatus, whatever it is? It is sticking out from the inside. So, whatever. I guess that's what makes this a movie and not real life. Now, I remember in an interview with Nancy Allen, she was talking about that they, this, again, special effects, everything was done on site. No blue screen, nothing. And Nancy Allen said that, even that gives me kind of the willies. Vertigo, okay. But Nancy Allen said that, she scared to death of heights, and being up there in that thing, she just, ooh. But she said it helped because she just used it and went with it. Stunt doubles. Stunt doubles. Again. Real actors. You've captured their stunt doubles! Spaceball shout out. And down we go. And again, here we go. Really bright flashing lights happening. And what I'd really like to know is what this looked like. Like, if you were driving up towards the building, or if you were on the outside looking on the ground looking up at it, and all the lights were just normal, or maybe even out, because it is, who knows what, in the morning. Something o'clock in the morning. And you just look up there and you see this huge bright, huge, or intensely bright light just shining in this window. You have to wonder what's going on up there. This is also the time when PG-13 movies could get away with fuck. But apparently you can only say it once. And that was it. If you said it more than once, that's an R-rated movie. But if you just said it once, that's okay. PG-13 still. It's just so weird that they just worked that in there. Fucking son of a bitch! So random. Wah, 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 wah. Now we've gotten into the whiny brats. Oh. So I guess it's not really Carol Ann, huh? So let's jump in after it. But she does have the necklace. I'm amazed that they were able to hold on to that thing for as long as they did. I would have already dropped the damn thing. And jump. Nice jumping. Now here's the weird thing. Why is it that when she jumps in, she, is fine. But when Bruce, now granted Bruce kind of fell in, but it's just weird how he does not. Look, there's the TV. You can see it. It's covered in cocaine right now. Yes, I know it's ice and snow, but it looks like cocaine, okay? It's a joke. Get over it. If you don't like it, go on the internet and complain. Oh, did you notice that the hat that was blue is now white? Oh, God. I hope no one epileptic is watching this movie. This is really bad. P.S. Don't ever watch the first movie when Carol Ann is crawling out of the bed to reach out and get the poltergeist to come through the screen. Because the strobe light is... Watch it in the dark. The strobe light is really powerful. And I love these random rays of light that just crisscross all through the room. It's a good effect. Oh, and the mirror that Carol Ann broke with the ice skate is now back to, I guess the poltergeist they have a handyman fix his stuff. I love them. So lame. Slap. What the five fingers say to the face? Slap! Okay, now, I know the ending had to be reshot, but I wonder what had to be reshot. Did all this have to be reshot? Or just the ending? By the way, here's some more weird sound effects. And I'd really like to know what they used to make that sound effect. And again, if you're keeping up with the Kane count, that was number 2. And now here's number 3. But Tangina steps in. Kane! I love that. It's just so funny. Just yells that out of the middle of nowhere. Kane! What? She could have been doing that this whole time. She could have done it since day one in the first one, but no. Oh well. By the way, if any of you are Lord of the Rings fans, you know what this is. You know what I'm about to say. Wow, I never realized how overexposed this is. Now, apparently, there was supposed to be a touching goodbye scene with Tangina and Carol Ann talking to each other, but they had to cut it and then reshoot, and then, of course, poor Heather O'Rourke passed away. So they couldn't use that again. Oh, and another thing is they were intending to use Scott or Tom Skerritt and Donna and Scott, I think, on their frozen bodies instead of a skeleton. They're supposed to use their frozen bodies in that scene where she discovers them, but and of course the guy who played Scott was not available for the reshoot, so everybody's like, "Well, what happened to Scott? Where's Scott?" And, well, he wasn't available to do the reshoot, so they just got these three. I used to think that Scott, when he actually reappeared, he just reappeared in his own room. You know, it's not a far stretch to think about. Yeah. And if you notice, you don't get to see Carol Ann. So, which is a shame. That poor girl that they do have there is just, oh, oh, happy ending. Oh shit. You know, did we really need that? Was that necessary? So, Poltergeist 3. Oh, and now the music is no longer as creepy. Very nice. I love the um very subtle drums in the background. It's fun. And they give credit to who originally portrayed Kane. That's nice. I don't think I've ever seen that in any other movie. Like when they have a character in one movie and then somebody else comes in and has to take over. Like, I don't think they did that in the Harry Potter credits for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. They don't say the role of Dumbledore was originally created by whoever. And if they did, I totally missed it. They might have. I'm looking for psychic advisors. If you remember from my Poltergeist 2 commentary, there was a psychic advisor before. And so far I'm not seeing one, but that's not going to stop me from looking. Uh, I know a lot of people hated this movie for various reasons, and maybe they're right. I'm not sitting here to say whether this movie is bad or good. You're gonna make up your own opinion about it and make up your own mind. You're either a fan of it or you're not. But, wait a minute, special choreography? What the hell kind of choreography did you need? Oh well. Welfare worker? What does that person do? Oh, it's so sad. Well, either if there was a psychic advisor, they weren't used. So that's a shame. Oh well. Well, I hope you enjoyed another commentary by me, the absent commentator. Uh, Maybe I'll make a new one about something else. I'm open for suggestions, so if you'd like for me to commentate on something, let me know. Have fun. See you later. Bye.